This is the much anticipated drama everyone has been waiting for. Every frame of the entire drama will open your eyes. If it's not good, you can come and hit me. Next, let's see where this drama is really good. The story starts from a small village. A girl named Avon is preparing to complete her coming-of-age ceremony. Then she was suddenly pushed into the river. The river water instantly drowned her. When she poked her head out, she was already choking. She struggled in the turbulent river. Just then, she tried to start staying calm. Sure enough, she floated on the water. She kept her breath smooth along the river, feeling the power of the river. It turns out that in this world, only a few women can have this power. They are called Taoist masters, that is, magicians. In this world of light and dark opposition, a long time ago, a man known as the dragon. His arrogance caused the world to collapse. In the end, only the Taoist masters were left to clean up the mess. According to the prophecy of the dragon, he has reincarnated as a true dragon 20 years ago, and his rebirth will determine the fate of mankind. But after his reincarnation, he doesn't know whether he is male or female. However, as a Taoist master, Murray must find him before the darkness awakens. And in Avon's village, there are young people of the right age. Murray immediately took the guard to the village. At this time, the village is celebrating Avon's coming-of-age ceremony. The tavern is full of laughter. Just then, a mysterious man in black pushed the door in. His arrival instantly brought the joyful atmosphere to a freezing point. Then a woman quickly became alert and asked him to introduce himself. It turned out to be Murray's guard, Lon Ron Long. After the introduction, Murray also slowly walked in, and when the landlady knew that the visitor was a Taoist master, she immediately asked Murray's needs. At the same time, Murray also showed his Taoist arrow and asked for a room. The landlady agreed instantly after seeing it. All the villagers are talking about it. The action of the Taoist master means that something big is going to happen. At the same time, Murray was also observing every young man who fits the true dragon reincarnation. The next day, Murray found the woman from yesterday. It turns out that he has the ability to listen to the wind, can predict the weather, and also fits the age of the true dragon reincarnation. As a Taoist master, Murray actually saw it last night. Murray returned to the tavern, continued to observe several young people, want to find the real dragon as soon as possible. At the same time, Lon Ren Long was in the forest, found a lot of dead animals. In the evening, the villagers lit lanterns by the river, and held a party in the village. Just when they were having fun, a man was stabbed in the chest with a knife. Then a demon rushed over from the opposite side. The scene was instantly chaotic. People were scared and fled everywhere. In a short while, more demons came to the village. They cut when they saw people. The scene was full of screams. Avon, hiding in the corner, was shivering with fear. Just then, a demon rushed towards them. Then he took out his big machete, and slowly walked towards the two. A beast is rushing towards two weak women. They were shivering with fear. Just as he took out his machete and approached the women, a beam of light tore the beast in two. The two women were also terrified. It turned out to be the Taoist master, Murray. At this time, he was exerting the power of the poles, counterattacking the beast demons that were rushing over. He summoned all the surrounding light together, cooperating with the guard Lon Ron Long to kill the enemy. He continued to cast spells. The guard was protecting on the side. The two cooperated very tacitly. Then he turned all the light into thunder and lightning, directly knocked down all the beast demons on the ground. Just then, a big knife flew over, directly inserted into his chest. The guard hurried over to support him. It turned out that a group of beast demons had come from the opposite side. Murray said nothing, directly pulled out the big knife from his chest. Facing a large number of demon legions, what does he want to do? It turns out that he still has a big move to release. He spread his hands. A ray of light slowly approached him. Then all the surrounding light was attracted by his power. When he opened his eyes again, the big move has become light penetrating the wall. He smashed it like throwing an egg. In an instant, all the demons were killed by him alone. As a result, he also consumed too much power, and knelt on the ground. Overnight, the harmonious village became ruins. There were countless casualties among the villagers. Fortunately, several young people were all safe. Murray told them, these demons came for the 4 young people. At the same time, he told the few people the fable of the true dragon reincarnation. If a few people continue to stay in the village, it will continue to bring disaster to the village, and the demon army on the mountain is already rushing towards them. So a few people left with Murray overnight. After a night of running, they finally got away from the village, but the beast demons behind are still chasing non-stop. Until the evening, they came to a ferry at a river. After paying double the price, a few people got on the ferry. Not long after, hundreds of demon soldiers chased to this place. In the crowd, a demon soldier was squeezed into the river, and was drowned on the spot. It turns out that they are afraid of deep water. At this time, the silent subordinates on the shore also arrived. Then he roared at them. The guard hurriedly cut off the rope. Murray cast a spell to destroy the ferry, but the boatman insisted on going back to find his family. Without saying a word, he jumped into the river. As a result, tragedy A ferry slowly rolled into the whirlpool, and there was a boatman on the boat. In the blink of an eye, the ferry had disappeared, and the beast demons on the opposite shore were still roaring non-stop. They were also forced to do so. Everyone felt sad about this. After a night of running, Murray used his power to restore the horse's strength. By night, Murray let Avon feel the true source of supreme power. At this time, the other end sleeping on the side felt a sore throat. Then he vomited a bat from his mouth. When he looked up, he saw the silent subordinates of the underworld. It was a false alarm. It turned out to be a dream, but he did see the dead bats underground. Peter was confused. Isn't this a dream? At this time, the guard ran over and asked everyone to get on their horses quickly. Several people continued to move forward. On the way, they encountered the White Runner going west. This is an organization that hates darkness extremely, and all supreme power users, so they will hunt down the owners of supreme power. Take this as an honor, and every time they kill a Taoist master, they will take off their rings, and hang them around their waist as trophies. Fortunately, Murray took off his ring in advance, passed the customs in a muddle. All the way, Murray's injuries became more and more serious. When they stopped to rest again, the demon army had already caught up with them. The guard quickly woke everyone up, and handed the unconscious Murray to Chang, but he stayed behind. Several people ran desperately. The demon army was also chasing after them. From night to day, just then, suddenly all the horses stopped. Several people looked at the front in surprise. My God, a 100-meter-high city wall was torn open. It seems that some power is preventing them from moving forward. Even the demon army behind did not dare to approach. But surprisingly, under the leadership of the guard Lan Runlong, the horses slowly walked in. A 100-meter-high city wall was torn open by a monster. This is a city that has been abandoned for a long time, because there was no door left when it was built. The whole city is surrounded by a 100-meter-high city wall. The city is also dead silent. There is no one. The magnificent buildings represent the once majesty and prosperity. A few people came to a hall. After settling Murue, Mike wandered alone in the city. In an abandoned corner, found a mist box. Open it and see. It turned out to be an ancient dagger inlaid with red gems. Just as he pulled it out and pondered, suddenly there was a sound of horse neighing. A mysterious black veil slowly approached the horse. It was a bite at the horse. A few people heard the sound and came to see. It didn't take a cup of tea. The lively horse instantly turned into dregs. They were directly stunned, and the rest of the horses also felt abnormal. Quickly break free of the rope and run away. Soon the black shark spread towards them. In a while, the four people were divided into two teams. In order to survive, they can only run away separately first, and the guard who came down to hear the sound held Murue and quickly evacuated. At this time, the terrifying black shark has begun to spread rapidly. In an instant, the entire city was full of black sharks. An and Achang escaped to the city wall. Watching the overwhelming black shark coming towards them, they were forced to, had to jump down from the 100-meter-high city wall, finally fell into the river below. At this time, Peter and Mike crawled into the sewer, just in the nick of time, kicked open the small door, just got out of danger. In the end, several people were divided into three groups. The guard put the dying Murue on the ground. Just at this time, a knife was put on his neck. It turned out to be Manny, who was caught by the devil. Just the day he was caught, the devil didn't kill him all the time, but dragged him for 3 days and 3 nights. Finally, he found an opportunity to escape from the devil. When he hid in the water in the village, the devil followed up again. The woman held her breath in the water for 10 minutes without rushing out, to avoid the pursuit of monsters. It turns out he is a bull demon king with a broken foot. Although the woman did not make a sound, but she has already urinated a pond. But the old cow still focused on the hot spring pool. Then it was a mess against the pool. Continue to walk into the pool before getting results. Then there was another mess. At this time, the woman also slowly probed her head from the pool, then quickly took the knife behind him. A knife stabbed into his chest. The painful brother Nyo hugged the woman and sank to the bottom of the pool together. A few seconds later, the hot spring pool water was dyed red with blood. Then the woman suddenly drilled out from under the water. It seems that the old cow has gone home. Nanny, who is a wind listener, found Murue in them, and threatened the guard to hand over Peter G. However, the guard has already separated from several people. I don't know where a few people are going. At this time, Peter and Mike ran to a mine. He shouted at the mountain to Owen. Mike immediately stopped him, because this will attract the devil's legion. Owen, who is with Achang, is suffering from hunger and cold, because they jumped into the river last night. The wet clothes are not dry yet. The cold weather is about to freeze the two of them. They found some firewood, but the frozen hands just can't light the fire. Fortunately, Owen accidentally lit it with magic. It seems that the two of them are really frozen. Just at this time, there was a wolf howl in the distance. The two got up and ran. Then a group of jackals chased up. The two can only run forward desperately. When they ran to a big mountain, the wolf pack stopped. The two also felt weird, but I can't take care of that much, so continue to go forward. Just when they walked into a mist, but bumped into a group of foreigners, without saying a word, ask if you can sing that song. The two were made a face. After confirming that the two will not sing, they were taken into the clan. The enthusiastic foreigners also entertained the two. On the other side, Nanny learned that several people were lost, and promised the guard to save Murue first, then find a few people together. He picked some flowers and bark. After smashing it, apply it to Murue's wound. After everything is processed, just wait for him to wake up. As the plot develops, the story of the entire drama has also reached a climax. If friends really like to watch, please tell me in the comment area. I will update as soon as possible. In the end, I am still very grateful for everyone's support. This male mage is really handsome. He clenched his 5 fingers. The javelin flying from the opposite side hasn't approached yet. He has already shattered it. Soldiers prepare to draw their swords to attack. They haven't waited for them to come. The black air on his body has already eliminated them. He is Tai Long, one who claims to be a real dragon, and just by one person's power, can knock down a group of Taiji people. But when he was sleeping, but was ambushed by the Liaxin Taiji in front of him, then he was locked in this cage. After Mu Rue learned that he was Tai Long, followed Liaxin and 2 teachers directly, returned to their camp. There are many companions of Mu Rue here. In order to let Mu Rue recover as soon as possible, a Tai teacher helped him heal his wounds. After regaining strength, he came to the cave where Tai Long was detained. After understanding Tai Long's situation, a few people are preparing to take Tai Long to the White Tower for trial. The shield that trapped him must be reinforced at all times. Mu Rue, who just recovered, took on the responsibility of reinforcing the shield. Just when reinforcing the shield, his immense power, but it shocked Mu Rue. On the other side, Peter and Mike came to the entrance of the mine, but saw a poor man locked in an iron cage and shot to death by random arrows. At this time, Mike was attracted by the pendant on the corpse. Then they came to this dilapidated village. The two walked into the only hotel in the village, asked the landlady about On's whereabouts. Just at this time, everyone's eyes are on a singer. Mike came to the entrance of the village alone at night. The shining pendant has already lost him. Suddenly someone stretched out a small knife behind him. It turned out to be the singer who sang during the day. The singer told Mike that he was not here for him. Then they put down the corpse, prepared to bury him well. At the same time, Mike also took the pendant around his waist, and a strange item, when he was about to return to the hotel, but bumped into Peter being chased by the landlady. The two ran away. The landlady chased after him. Soon they were blocked. It turns out that the landlady is a subordinate of the underworld. As long as they dedicate them to the underworld, they will be rewarded. Also their news here notified the subordinates of the underworld. The silent person at this time, a dagger flew and pierced his neck. The two were also shocked. It turned out to be the singer during the day. In order to avoid the pursuit of the silent, the two quickly ran east. At the same time, Tai Long's army has already arrived at the camp of Taiji Master. At this time, they are launching a total attack on the camp. A Taiji Master controlled the direction of the bow and arrow with magic, and shot directly at the incoming soldiers. At this time, Tai Long in the cave also broke through the shield, directly stunned 2 Taiji Masters. Then, the Iron Dragon was melted into ashes by a force of darkness. In order to bring everyone a better viewing experience, I also update day and night. Hope not to live up to everyone's expectation. What kind of divine drama is this? A force of darkness melts the dragon of steel into ash. Just as he escapes from the cage, several mages come to stop him. Then the man is firmly trapped. In order to trap the man, several people also tried their best, but his power is too strong. It seems that he is about to break through the shield. In order to protect Murray and others, he transfers his power to 2 people. The old woman herself was knocked away, finally hanging in front of them. At this time, the outside is also fighting fiercely. Every remote output Taoist master, there is 1 or 2 warriors to protect. When necessary, even act as a human shield, facing the attack of soldiers. Many Taoist masters and warriors were killed or injured. Then a Taoist master released a big move, summoned the power of light, then explode around. Let everyone retreat to the cave first. At this time, the 2 people who stopped the dragon ran back to the cave at the first time. Looking at the dead winged lion, the warrior who protected him was instantly furious. At this time, his axe slowly became blackened. Then a force emerged from the tail dragon. The double axe was shattered in an instant. Except for Nanny. Everyone else was seriously injured. The unlucky blue man dragon was even cut through the throat. Nanny quickly ran to press his wound. The dying blue man dragon spurted blood, seeing that the dark power of the tail dragon is about to recover. At this time, Nanny suddenly burst out with the power of light. The powerful force illuminates the entire cave. The wounds of all people who had just been seriously injured healed quickly. At this time, the tail dragon was instantly injured by the power of light. At this time, the Liaxin mage took the opportunity to cast a spell to trap the tail dragon, and the rest of the people also quickly connected with him, transfer all the power to him. Even the green-robed mage who came quickly also quickly cast a spell to connect. With everyone's concerted efforts, finally trapped the tail dragon, and also forced out the dark power in his body. Then the survivors hold a funeral for the sacrificed Taoist masters and warriors. At the same time, the warrior also took off the old mage's Taoist ring, after covering it with a white cloth. Everyone stood in place and mourned for them for 3 minutes. This matter also came to an end. Then a group of people went to the majestic white tower. At the same time, after a few days of escape, Peter and Mike, they finally saw the majestic white tower. After arriving at the white tower, they found an inn to rest. At this time, Murray found them. At this time, Mike has been possessed by a demon. Peter was afraid of being hurt again, and drew his knife to defend. Murray slowly approached Mike. Suddenly Mike stabbed with a dagger. Pay attention. A force of darkness spews out from the man's mouth, directly falling towards his palm, then slowly gathering to his mouth along his arm. Because this power is too strong, he is firmly suppressed by two people, after being diluted by his mouth. This dark force flows into a small knife. Yes, this small knife is the one Mike picked up in the castle. The guard quickly wrapped it in cloth. After finishing, Peter finally believed in Murray. Then the subdued tail dragon was also paraded through the streets. The people of the White Tower all threw crows at him. It turns out that this person in the eyes of the people of the White Tower bears the sin of a traitor. Next, he will accept the highest trial of the White Tower. At the same time, Evan and Ah Chang also followed the Tuya tribe caravan, head to the White Tower, but unfortunately, they ran into the previous White Runner. They came here to inquire about the tail dragon. At this time, Evan and two others were discovered by the leading Xiaobai. In the desperate resistance of the Tuya tribe, 3 people escaped, but they didn't run far before they were caught. The 2 were taken to their camp. Ah Chang was pressed on the wooden board, then threatened Evan to perform supremely. Obviously, Xiaobai thought Evan was a Taoist doctor, and Ah Chang is his guard, but Evan didn't know how to guide Jin Yuan. The cruel Xiaobai had to draw a few bloodstains on Ah Chang. In desperation, Evan began to try to guide the true element. Sure enough, a force of Hongmeng slowly gathered to his palm along his arm, then formed a fireball. He threw the fireball at Xiaobai, but this tiny power even Xiaobai was laughing at him. At this time, Ah Chang was furious. His palm inexplicably ignited a force of Hongmeng. The rope was instantly crushed. At the same time, there was a howl of wolves outside. Even Xiaobai was shivering with fright. His eyes turned yellow. Xiaobai was scared on the spot. At this time, Evan took the opportunity to pick up the small knife, directly stabbed Xiaobai. 2 people quickly escaped from the tent. After coming out, they found that the outside was already a mess. Soldiers were bitten to death and injured. Just when the 2 were confused, a soldier blocked their way. The next second he was knocked down. The 2 had just run a few steps, but they ran into a jackal in front of them. Unexpectedly, he just greeted the 2, and hurriedly ran to help. Pay attention to this man with a broken hand. The fishing net is knotted. He prepares to untie it with one hand. At this time, a little girl behind him is rotating her arm, with the rhythm of his finger flicking. The dead knot of the fishing net slowly opens. The girl looks at her father worriedly, but the father is still happy about it, because the girl's intelligence has improved a lot. At the same time, the girl also shows a happy smile. But who would have thought? This girl, who is only 10 years old, turns out to be the future master of the White Tower. In a blink of an eye, 30 years have passed. He sits at the top of the White Tower, received the worship of thousands of people, but facing the case that is about to wake up. But as long as you find the real dragon after reincarnation, you can eliminate the case. At the command of a woman, Logan, who pretends to be a real dragon, was taken to the hall. He will accept the highest trial of the White Tower, never free, being observed and studied by people in the years of immortality, until completely lost in madness. After the trial is over, Murray found Evan and Ah Chang, who had just arrived at the White Tower through the news. At this time, Ah Chang is still in a coma on the bed because of his last effort. But what surprised him was, the scars on his back recovered so quickly, and let Evan take good care of her. In the evening, Murray took off her charming makeup, put on a charming long white nightgown. It also looks more charming and moving. At this time, the guard said that he must come back before dawn. She will always wait at the door. Then she walked to an ancient clock. After closing the clock door, she began to cast magic. Through a dazzling light, he came to the room of the master of the White Tower, Sang Song. At this time, Sang Song is still worrying about the affairs of the hall today. Murray told him, among the 5 people brought, there must be one who is true, but he still can't tell who it is. Sang told Murray, the Dark Land has slowly awakened in the eye of the world. There is a chance to destroy him. For this matter, the 2 have to separate. During the day, Murray knelt in front of him, but unexpectedly, at night, it was the king of the White Tower who knelt to him. The next day, Murray left the White Tower alone. It feels particularly desolate. Soon he came to the legendary Gate of Time. At this time, the builder who had an appointment with him also came, and told him that other people were behind. Murray seemed a bit excited. Soon Evan and Ah Chang also came on horseback not far away, and on the other side, it was the Blue Man Dragon who brought the other 3 people. Several people who grew up together since childhood, after experiencing several life and death separations, meet again. Then they let all the horses go back by themselves. For everyone's safety, Murray stated, they are going to reach the eye of the world through this door. That is, the cage of the Dark Land. Among the 5 of them, one person is the reincarnation of the real dragon, but now he still doesn't know who it is. If all people go in, what happens? He can't answer. Then Murray walked to the stone gate, slowly raised his hands, prepared to use the supreme command to open the Gate of Time. With the casting of his magic, the teleportation wave of the Gate of Time also slowly formed. After he completed the startup, Mike hesitated, and in Murray's eyes, it seems that there is a trace of reluctance. Then he slowly walked in first. This is the legendary Gate of Time, only to see the woman open her arms. A primordial force is entwined around him. Under his operation, the heat wave slowly rises. Then it lingers between two stone pillars. With the continuous surge of heat waves, the Gate of Time also opens. Next, they will step into the passage to the Eye of the World. Once you step into the passage, there is no way back. At this moment, Mike regrets. The reason? I won't say. With the closing of the stone gate, they also lit the torch. Murray leads the way. The dark dojo is full of strange stone pillars. On both sides is the bottomless abyss. Just when they were halfway there, suddenly there was a flash of lightning and thunder. They hurriedly ran forward. Just then, a black wind came. The torch was also extinguished. The builder said that the black wind would dilute people's souls. Everyone struggles in pain. It seems that in everyone's mind, someone is talking to them. In desperation, Nynaeve, enduring the pain, slowly walked forward, roared at the front. The power of the primordial reappears, formed a shield. All the black wind was blocked outside. At this time, Murray also began to cast spells. Under his operation, a portal slowly appeared in front of him. Everyone quickly walked out. The portal also closed. They were teleported to a fortress. Nanny asked where this is. The builder said this is the last fortress against the fairies. The Eye of the World is only a day's journey from here. Murray said they have many friends here. You can rest in this border country. Then a group of people came to the fortress. Blue Man Dragon saw him here. Brothers who grew up together since childhood. They also saw the king of the fortress, Magua. Murray told him, the underworld is about to wake up. The beast demon army will come here through the Gate of Time. Wag was surprised, but he had to believe. Murray can only do everything now. Late at night, Peter didn't know why he couldn't sleep. It turned out that he thought of his foster father. He who had a sleepless night ran outside to shoot arrows. At this time, his mother actually appeared in his mind. At that time, the mother had been pregnant for 10 months. It's about to be born, but there are pursuers behind. He can only hide behind the stone secretly. Just then, it seems that if he wants to give birth to this baby safely, can only clear these pursuers first. He endured the pain. Grab the enemy's long run with one hand. A heavy fall on the ground. Pick up the spear in his hand. With a poof, the man instantly got a boxed lunch. At this time, he also persisted to the limit. But the pursuers kept coming. He can only face it. Just when he wiped out the pursuers, when preparing to take off his pants and give birth, a sword pointed at him. And this person is his foster father. He didn't ask. Then he held the woman's hand. Encourage her to give birth with her eyes. In a while, Peter was born. But his mother was unconscious due to overwork. And then he lived with his foster father in the village of Two Rivers. It turns out that Peter is the real dragon. He found Murray late at night, told him everything. The next day the two went to the Eye of the World, a place Peter has dreamed of many times. Is the most terrifying dungeon in the world. Deep pits are surrounded by neat stairs. The entire cage is wrapped in countless strange vines. Under the dungeon is a huge Tai Chi Bagua map. Peter slowly squatted down. Just as his hand was about to touch the Bagua map, suddenly a knife pierced Murray. He was scared and kept retreating. Murray got a boxed lunch on the spot. It turned out to be a man in a suit. He is the underworld that the whole network is looking for. Peter did not hesitate. Raise the bow and shoot him in the right eye. But the underworld is not afraid at all, but pushed the sword into his own eyes. Directly stunned Peter. As he slowly deepened, an extremely ugly mask disappeared, turned into a handsome face. The underworld also said how good this is. Otherwise, it's inconvenient to speak. Peter looked at Murray who died on the ground. Start to doubt this is a dream. The underworld despises him. Last time I brought 99 companions. This time I actually brought one. But in the end you still failed. Peter didn't want to hear his nonsense. Directly pull out the knife. The underworld doesn't care. Strangely, he asked about the coming of the knife. Peter told him it was given by his father. The underworld sarcastically said your father is dead. Reed didn't want to entangle with him anymore. Want to end this dream as soon as possible. So he stabbed himself with a knife. The scene switched instantly. This is a simple and ordinary room. There is a crib next to it. He curiously walked out of the room, but saw Owen and a child. At this time, Owen also saw him coming back, and gave the child to Peter. This is the scene he most wants. A family of 3 live happily together. But the reality is not like this. Murray couldn't wake him up no matter how he shook. Suddenly the Dark Emperor appeared beside him. He immediately used his IQ to deal with the dark. Unexpectedly, the Dark Emperor just moved his finger. His Ren and Du meridians were banned. He will no longer be able to use IQ, and now he is just an ordinary person. Then the underworld came to Peter's illusion. At this time, Owen had already settled there. Just then, the underworld cut Owen's neck, and said to Peter, the true element in the body can be according to his wishes, from shaping the world to becoming what he hopes. Sure enough, Owen's neck was restored. Then Peter walked to the crib. Looking at the motionless daughter, the underworld took the opportunity to summon the light, slowly entwining him, and after the power of light. But it is that terrible power of darkness. At the same time, the beast demon army of the underworld also attacked the fortress border. The subordinates told Meg. The 2 ropes of the drawbridge have been cut. It means that there have been dark insiders in the city early. If the last barrier is pounced, the entire city will be swallowed by the Beast Demon Legion. So Meg took 30,000 troops to the fortress pass, and everything in the city is safe. Handed over to the 2E's sister Mary. The civilians in the city also quickly moved to a safe place. At the same time, Mary and On 5 people is making the final line of defense outside the city. Then, the underworld silent subordinates gave an order. Thousands of Beast Demon army came face to. This is the most powerful group of 5 in history. They actually summoned the power of the primordial together. But in the end, because the power was too strong, women were burned to death one after another. Let's take a look. The most exciting finale of the Wheel of Time. With the command of the Silent One, a group of fierce beast demons rushed towards the city wall. Under the call of the king of Beijing, Ma Gu, countless arrows shot outside the city wall. Endless beast demons climbed up the city wall. The king of Beijing was unable to dodge, was nailed to the wall by a gun of the beast demon, ended his 30-year fortress life. With the death of the king of Beijing, the fortress was also broken by the beast demon. 5 of the most fierce Tai Chi masters summoned the power of light together. At the same time, Peter in the dungeon is still not awake. Murray put a knife on his neck. It turns out, Peter in the dream is about to be swallowed by the power of darkness. All this is forced by the underworld. If Peter chooses light, then the underworld can't escape the dungeon. If you choose darkness, then no one can compete with it. He will lead the Beast Demon Legion to destroy the world, for the whole world. Murray is also forced. If he doesn't choose light, can only solve him when he wakes up. At this moment, a light slowly seeped into his pocket. It turned out to be a small live shrimp given by Murray. Obviously Peter has made a choice. He chose light. The underworld was sealed again. Peter woke up from the dream, and at this time, because of the forced summoning of too much true element, people who can't bear it are directly burned to death. Awen told Nanny that she had started to burn, but the leader Mary couldn't stop. In a while, Awen couldn't stand it and knelt on the ground. Nanny also started to burn. Both of them fell to the ground, and Mary became even more crazy. She kept praying to the sky, hope God can take back the light. Just when Awen couldn't hold on, Nanny crawled over. She drew the excess true element from her body into herself. Then Awen also began to recover slowly, but Nanny was miserable. She started to burn quickly. At this moment, Mary suddenly stopped. Nanny screamed unbearably. Mary was burned beyond recognition, then knelt on the ground. The boxed lunch of 5 people was burned to only 1 person left. Awen held Nanny and cried. Suddenly a force of light drilled out and entwined him. Nanny began to recover slowly. Then she was resurrected from the dead. After several partings of life and death, the two hugged tightly together. At this time on the other side of the dungeon, after successfully sealing the underworld, said goodbye to Murray. However, after this battle, the power hidden in his body was also stimulated. Murray sat on the ground, looking at the stone shattered by Peter. He fell into contemplation. At this time, the guard blue man dragon also arrived, and the stone in his hand is not ordinary. The power of Jingyuan can actually break him. The two understood in an instant. This is not the last war, and the real war has just begun. The first season of the Wheel of Time ends here.